Water. Earth. Fire.
Water!
Air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
I hope you bulletproof for this about to hurt.
Avatar The Last Airbender is the greatest form of media ever. No, not that Avatar. Not that one. Definitely not that one. I still got beef with you. You may think, oh wow, it's just a kid's show. It's for 12-year-olds. I'm not gonna be into this. No, you don't. Okay? You don't know that. Don't be arrogant, sir. Or ma'am, whoever you are. You may think it's just a kid show, but it's one of those kid shows. One of those shows that says a lot with little. One of those shows that's very creative in its world building. One of those shows that has an engaging story and unique characters. Yeah, it's one of those shows. It's an all-time classic. And if you have not seen this show yet, I'm going to convince you to watch it. And if you haven't watched it in a long time, I'm going to convince you to re-watch it. Starting now. So you're probably thinking, what the heck is this show about? Why do I need to watch it? I got you. It's about the four elements: the Water Tribe, the Earth Kingdom, the Fire Nation, and the Air Nomads. Other than being different elements, all four nations are unique, but we'll be talking about that later. Amongst these four nations is the Avatar. The Avatar's duty is to bring balance to all four nations and to make sure that there is peace. And he does this by mastering all four elements. And he's the only one who can do this. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. 100 years passed and war has broken out. The Fire Nation has this desire to conquer the world with their power. The world has only one hope, and well, that's where our story begins. We start with our main character, Aang. He's frozen in the iceberg for 100 years, and he is the last airbender. Hey, that's the name of the show. He goes on this journey with Sokka and Katara to master all four elements so that he can end the 100-year war and defeat the Fire Lord. Do they succeed? I don't know. Go watch it. I haven't seen it yet. This show to me is very unique. Now, yes, we have seen narrative steps like this. We've seen the last of its kind type of story where they go around the world to defeat, an all, consuming evil. He does it with a gang of friends. We've seen these narrative steps before, but it's very unique because we see how these characters progress as the show goes on. There's true growth to each and every character that you meet, and it is just very engaging to watch as a consumer. As you're watching it, you're going to be emotionally tied to at least one of these characters. They have unique qualities and personalities that makes them stand out from other characters that you've seen on television. The world building is very unique as well. Each nation, the Water Tribe, the Earth Kingdom, the Fire Nation, the Air Nomads, have different landscapes and culture to them. The presentation and the premise around each nation is very unique and it's very engaging to watch. Visually, I like seeing how the Water Tribe builds its tribe out of ice sculptures, or seeing the Earth Kingdom with big cities. The Fire Nation have a lot of technology such as ships and tanks and machines because, well, they're the Fire Nation, so they're going to use that energy to produce those kind of machines. And then the Air Nomads, when we do see them, they're off on their own mountain doing their own thing. So it's very engaging to watch each culture have its own thing and present itself in a very unique way. It's also really cool how the bending elements can blend into the culture of the world, and it makes you really jealous. It makes you want to actually live there. And even though each nation is different, they are the same. But this is where the Avatar comes in. The Avatar shows us that, even though each nation is different and each element is their own thing, he himself is the representation of how each nation is the same and how we can be united as one nation. Like I mentioned before, each nation has its own powers and you'll see what makes them unique. But as the show goes on, we see that the world becomes more united as they try to fight their way to defeat the Fire Lord and the Fire Nation, and it's very cool to see. The characters are great as well. Like I said before, each character has its own unique personality and own quirks to themselves, and it makes you really attached to them. Sokka, Katara, Aang, and Zuko are 4 main characters that get the most screen time, and they all have unique qualities to them and different dimensions to them as well. Aang is a 12-year-old boy, so he wants to have fun, he wants to do 12-year-old boy things, but he is the Avatar and his duty is to the nations around the world. He also has to learn all 4 elements and to defeat the Fire Lord, and he's the last of his kind. That type of anxiety can do a lot to anybody, and this show does a great job of playing off of that. But we also get to see Aang grow from that and become a better person. Katara is very motherly and very welcoming and very helpful, but her mother died from the war, unfortunately, and her father had to go off to help out in the war. So as the oldest in her tribe, she had to build those mother-like qualities to help not only, the tribe around her, but her sibling as well. Sokka is very funny, very charismatic. He's also a really good fighter, but just like Katara, because they are siblings, his mother died from the war, unfortunately, and his father had to go off to the war. So again, just like Katara, as the oldest in his tribe, he had to build those qualities, build those father-like qualities, built this, survival mentality to help out his tribe and to help out his sibling. He's also really good with the ladies. All right, he gets like 2 girlfriends in this show. Toph is a, independent woman. She's tough. She comes off very strong. But as we get to know her, there's actually a soft side to her. And she's actually really, really helpful and actually does love people, but in her own unique way. She also has a really cool quirk to herself, but I'm not gonna say what it is because I want you guys to see it and to watch the show. Suki is awesome as well. She's really helpful, she's strong, she's independent, she's obedient, and overall she has a lot of likable qualities and things that you like to see in a strong female character like Suki. We need more girls like her. Even the pets, Momo and Appa, have their own personality traits as well. Zuko is the most complex character on this show. Now, I'm not going to get into everything about Zuko. This video would be way too long. But basically what you need to know is that Zuko, he's kind of a lost boy. He finds his way eventually, but on his way to his actual destiny, he makes a lot of mistakes. But those mistakes make him a better person and to the person who he is. Uncle Iroh is the helpful uncle. He's very wise, funny, loves people, and he loves his tea. He is some people's favorite characters, and the way he comes off is very engaging, and again, it just makes you love this guy even more. He also has a dark history to himself, but again, the show will show you that as well. Azula is very, 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 very terrifying. She's ruthless, fearless, does what she can to get what she wants, and she's very, very evil, but underneath all that evilness and manipulation, there's a broken girl underneath, and we see that in the show. May is a person that doesn't really care about anything, but even she has her own complexities, and we get to find out why she's like that throughout the show. Ty Lee is the opposite of May, where she's very optimistic, very joyful, and kind of helpful sometimes, but she is like that because she grew up in a household with other siblings, I think it's like 10 or 12 other siblings, and wanted to be different and to stand out. Even Fire Lord Ozai has his own character complexities. Yes, he's the big baddie of the show, but he has this weird way of showing his love to his son. I'm not gonna say what it is, but if you have an open mind, you may see it. And if you go back and watch the show, you may know what I'm talking about. You may not, I don't know. But if you go back and watch it, you may see it. The writing is incredible as well. It can be very deep. It says a lot without doing much, and that's great quality of good writing. It's an ongoing narrative with an end goal. Unlike other shows that were airing during the time, such as SpongeBob SquarePants and Fairy Odd Parents, those shows played off very episodic. Basically, that means there was necessarily not an end goal for the overall show. It was played by each episode, and the episodes didn't really connect to an end goal. With this show, it does come off very episodic, as in each episode there is an end goal, but it's always centered to the overarching narrative, which is the end of the 100-Year War. So you have a unique way of, having separate stories in each episode and having different goals, but we always pulled back to the end goal, which is to end the war. This show can be very, very dark at times. themes, and it covers a lot of topics. Topics like genocide, abandonment, abuse, forgiveness, revenge, the consequences of war, redemption, abuse, abuse again, emotional abuse, animal abuse, cabbage abuse. My cabbages! This show can be really in-depth with its topics, and that's something that I like in any type of writing. Something that I don't like is when shows do present, a topic like abuse or sexuality or whatever that is, but don't really go in depth about it. They kind of keep it on the surface level and it doesn't play into the narrative. And to me, that's bad writing and it frustrates me as a viewer. But the show is the opposite, where it brings these topics into the narrative and it's very engaging to watch. And you'll be watching and thinking to yourself, is this a kid's show? There's so much I can talk about, all right? But this show is worth the watch, I promise. It's been out for about 13-14 years, something like that, and there's so much depth that I haven't even scratched. Overall, this show is incredible, and if you haven't seen it in a while, go watch it on Netflix. If you have a friend that's never seen it, send this video to them and let them know what this show is about. Okay, look, I know that Netflix prices are ridiculous right now, but please watch it. Please. I promise. You won't regret it. Just watch it. Please. Pretty please. Alright. I'm going to bed. Good night, guys.